Today's video is kindly sponsored by jerseyfifa.com, the website you need to head to right away to get yourself the latest high quality football shirts at an extremely affordable price. And what's even better than that, you can use code JerseyFIFA at checkout to get 10% off your order. The link will be in the description, but again I just want to say a massive thank you to Jersey FIFA for sponsoring the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where today I'll be doing analysis of what is arguably the biggest game of the club season. It is of course the Champions League final time. Coming into the game there were a lot of players facing late fitness concerns, but luckily they were all past fit, and this was probably the strongest team for both sides to field. So we will start off with when Liverpool had the ball in their own defensive third, and in these situations they were pressed a little bit, with Madrid looking to sort of half press in a 4-2-3-1 shape. We can see this pressing shape from Madrid here, with Modric playing just behind Benzema, but it didn't really work at all for me, simply because Modric was constantly outnumbered by Thiago and Fabinho in the centre. To be honest, I'm not really too sure what Ancelotti was expecting. Liverpool always look to play out in this sort of way, and by pressing in this shape, it just made it so easy for Thiago and Fabinho to play out. From here, Liverpool were then able to take control for large periods of the game using their regular 2-4 shape, with Fabinho and Thiago taking their time on the ball in the centre of the park to dominate the match. This shape was displayed quite nicely for us on several different occasions, and for large periods of the match, Liverpool were able to dominate possession of the ball, as Madrid were now forced to drop off deeper. This obviously made the scenario quite perfect for someone like Thiago, and it was huge for Liverpool that he was able to pass some extremely late fitness tests, and once again his calmness was crucial on the ball. The incisive passing of Thiago was particularly important for Liverpool, because it allowed Sadio Mane to be brought into the game, and as we expected he'd done a good job of dropping deeper to receive these passes. This was something I predicted in my tactical preview of the game yesterday, and Mane was pivotal to the way that Liverpool played thanks to his ability to drop deep, receive the pass before then driving forward. This was another good performance from Mane in this position, and it is a credit to him as a player that he has adjusted to this new role so quickly, and that he is able to put this level of performance in the Champions League final. With Mane helping the team with a little injection of pace, it allowed the other Liverpool forwards to be brought into the game, particularly down the right, where Salah found some space for himself before cutting inside. This is what we can see here, with Salah picking the ball up out wide before then looking to move infield, from where he was then able to get in his pockets of space before looking to thread passes through. Salah found himself in these areas in behind Toni Kroos time and time again, and he carried a lot of threat, but at times he just lacked that little bit of quality that was needed with the final pass into the Madrid box. Another player that carried threat down the right hand side was obviously Trent Alexander-Arnold, who sometimes came infield but also sometimes stayed wide, but either way his delivery was often good. In this scenario here, we can see that Alexander-Arnold found himself in a slightly narrower area, although as we might expect it was from further out wide that his best deliveries into Madrid box came from. Arnold was brilliant yet again. He's been brilliant all season, and he carried that form into this game as well, and his ability to come infield or overlap out wide certainly caused problems for the Real Madrid defenders. Over on the other side of the pitch, the Liverpool attack did have a slightly different dynamic, with Luis Diaz initially holding the width, looking to pick the ball up out wide before then getting at Carvajal. This is the sort of scenario we can see here, with Diaz dribbling at Carvajal, who was on the back foot, but at times he seemed hesitant to really take him on, so often he actually cut back inside to then play a pass. Overall, I thought it was a slightly odd performance from Diaz. He got himself into some really nice positions, but he just seemed to lack the self-belief to really get at Carvajal as much as what I think he should have. As a result of this, more of Liverpool's attacking threat down this side of the pitch actually came from Andrew Robertson, who as always looked to make overlapping runs out wide and into the final third. We obviously all know that Robertson wants to do this as often as possible, as he loves really bursting forward, and it was no different in this game, although Valverde did do a good job of matching him. As always, Robertson was vital to providing the width for the Liverpool attack, although as I said there, Valverde did do a good job of tracking back in an attempt to nullify the threat that he had, and he clearly carried it through the game. That was probably the story of the night for Liverpool. Their attacking players were nullified by the incredible defence of Madrid, with Militao, Casemiro and Valverde all putting in man of the match performances, but they were all beaten to that award by Courtois, who for me produced one of the best Champions League final performances we've ever seen. He is the reason that Madrid had so much success in this game. So now it's time to look at things up the other end of the pitch, as Madrid looked to try and build possession from the back. But as we would expect, the Liverpool press was brilliant and so well organised. We can see exactly this in these two pictures here, with Liverpool really pushing high to put the Madrid players under pressure, and as a result this made it really difficult for Madrid to try and play the ball out from the back. I think we probably all expected this to be the game plan from Klopp, but I must say that the press was absolutely brilliant for large periods of the match, and it really did cause a lot of problems for the Madrid players. As a result, there were spells where Madrid gave up on playing the ball short, and instead they looked to play the ball much longer into the wider channels, in a desperate attempt just to try and get the ball up the pitch a little bit. Vinicius Jr was often the target with these longer passes, as he regularly held a high starting position, although as you can imagine, the Liverpool defenders were able to deal with this in quite a comfortable fashion. Let's be honest, there was nothing particularly cute or subtle about this particular approach. Madrid were just looking for a way to make sure that they weren't overturning possession in dangerous areas. Eventually Madrid did find a way to get a bit more of a grip on the game, and they'd done this using a 2-4-4 shape, with Kroos and Casemiro operating as a double pivot in the middle of the pitch. The lovely camera angle used in this match made it extremely easy to see this, and it allowed us to see this shape quite nicely, with Madrid operating in this 2-4-4 shape as they looked to try and build some possession. As a result, it finally allowed players like Toni Kroos to get just a little bit more time on the ball and a few more touches, which just brought a bit more of an element of calm to the whole Real Madrid performance. As Kroos had a bit more time on the ball, we then saw Valverde make a movement into more central areas, which created a lot of space out wide for Carvajal to push into before receiving the long pass. For large periods of the match, Carvajal was the man providing the width for the attack with these forward runs, although it was actually Valverde who found himself out wide as he got a brilliant assist for the only goal. As I was saying there, it was Carvajal providing the width more often than not, although the performance of Valverde was vital as well, and as always it was his selfless work off the ball which was so important. Despite some positive play down the right hand side, Real Madrid mainly looked to focus their attacks down the left, with Ferland Mendy pushing slightly further forward, which then allowed Vinicius to be brought into the game. I actually felt a little bit sorry for Vinicius in this game, because every time he got the ball he found himself up against 4 or 5 players, although to be fair, Liverpool obviously deserve credit for this smart defensive setup. As a result of this, Vinicius did have a bit of a mixed night. For large periods he struggled to really get going due to the lack of space that he had, although he was of course the man that scored the crucial winner. Madrid obviously recognised that Vinicius was getting crowded out, so we then saw Benzema starting to drift over to the left hand side, simply to give Vinicius some support in order to get Benzema more touches himself. Benzema found himself in this sort of position on a few different occasions, and I thought he done an excellent job of protecting the ball for Real Madrid, whilst as we expected he was always a threat in the box. Benzema may not have gotten as many chances as what he would have liked, but I think he should have had a goal in the first half, unless someone can explain the rule to me, but regardless he still had a good performance. The same has to be said for a lot of these Madrid players. It wasn't a vintage performance, but the players were just so committed to the cause. They put their bodies on the line time and time again with a brilliant performance. This is exactly how Ancelotti would have wanted it. Keep the game tight for as long as possible, and then see if those brilliant forwards can deliver some quality, and they did, just as they nearly always have this season. Overall, I personally really enjoyed this game. I don't necessarily think it was the most entertaining match ever, but it was a fascinating watch. Liverpool were brilliant for 40 minutes and they always looked like they carried a greater threat, but the performance of the Madrid defenders and Courtois in goal were just absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, the man of the match could easily have gone to someone like Valverde, Casemiro or Militao, but Courtois really did produce something special. Overall, with the teams that they have overcome this season, they deserve to win the Champions League. They rode their luck, but they beat all the best teams and are worthy Champions League winners once again. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the match in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one.